The unraveling of Prince Andrew's reputation is now complete. An object lesson in the perils of unchecked privilege and its potential to corrupt. The British monarchy is currently navigating on a period of intense public examination. The statement released by Virginia Giuffre's family poignantly captures the prevailing sentiment surrounding the case. A woman of ordinary background has successfully challenged yet a member of the royal family by asserting the truth. Andrew's public image has undergone a dramatic shift, transitioning from mere embarrassment to outright disgrace. Once favored by the late Queen Elizabeth II, Mountbatten Windsor now finds himself in exile. Having been divested of his honorary military roles and royal patronage, he is now facing eviction from his residence at Royal Lodge. Disturbing details regarding his conduct have recently come to light, intensifying public scrutiny. Royal historian Andrew Loney's recent publication details allegations of egregious mistreatment of staff by the prince. Those within royal circles have characterized him as arduous, uninformed, and notoriously difficult to manage. His signature phrases and customary behavior are now subject to intense public analysis. The controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's crimes has deeply impacted the stability of the British monarchy. A forthcoming 60 Minutes broadcast promises to reveal further details in the aftermath of Giuffre's accusations. The situation is critical for the former prince, whose reputation has been severely damaged following King Charles' decision to sever ties. Andrew has forfeited all royal entitlements, his military affiliations, charitable patronages, and the rig to be addressed as Royal Highness have all been revoked. Royal Lodge, formerly his sanctuary, is now slated for repossession. He shared the residence with Sarah Ferguson, his former wife, under a significantly reduced rental agreement. This arrangement, known as a peppercorn lay, ignited widespread public indignation. King Charles ultimately intervened, impelling Andrew to vacate the premises. The activities that transpired within Royal Lodge are now being exposed as reprehensible. Andrew's repeated denials of ever having met Virgin Roberts are increasingly viewed as disingenuous. Evidence suggests otherwise, leading to further condemnation of his actions. The book, entitled Highlights Andrew's Infamous Command, Do It, as indicative of his character. The phrase perfectly encapsulates his domineering, impolite, and dismissive manner. Staff members consistently felt demeaned by his imperious demeanor. Even long-serving palace employees found Andrew exceptionally unpleasant to work with. He frequently treated staff as if they were relics of a bygone era, a stark contrast to the respect shown by other royals. Unlike Andrew, both King Charles and the Queen were known for their consideration of staff. He appeared to be stuck in the past, operating under the belief that his royal lineage granted him immunity from consequences. Recent disclosures paint a troubling picture of his daily life and interactions with staff. His demands were consistently excessive. and demeaning to those around him. Serving as an employee for all, Andrew was likened to catering to the whims of a spoiled child. His morning routine was particularly challenging. For maids and valets assigned to his service, he refused to perform even the simplest task as himself, such as opening his own curtains. Staff members were required to climb stairs to open his curtains while he observed. His bedroom was often found in a state of disarray, frequently littered with used tissues. Maids were forced to clean up the mess, a task they found deeply humiliating. His unusual fixation with stuffed animals further contributed to the bizarre atmosphere within the residence. He meticulously maintained a collection of bears, arranging them in a precise manner. Laminated photographs were used to instruct staff on the exact placement of each toy. Any deviation from the prescribed arrangement would trigger his anger and frustration. This childish behavior created a highly toxic and stressful work environment for his staff. Aides frequently felt overwhelmed and stifled by his unpredictable and volatile moods. Minor infractions such as incorrect tie fabrics or forgotten curtains could provoke angry outbursts. He was known to shout, insult, and belittle those in his immediate vicinity. One aide was reportedly reprimanded for failing to use the Queen Mother's full official title. Another staff member was allegedly dismissed from the position due to the presence of a mole on their skin. Imagine working in an environment of luxury yet constantly dreading every interaction with your employer. Andrew's ever-changing mood dictated the atmosphere and affected everyone around him. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson are reportedly preparing to vacate Royal Lodge in the near future. He is rumored to be interested in acquiring Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's former residence. His behavior has been far from what one would expect of a gentleman. His actions reflect a man detached from reality, shielded from the consequences of his behavior by his privileged status. His sense of entitlement extended far beyond the confines of the palace walls. He routinely made absurd and unreasonable demands on his staff. He once summoned a technician in the middle of the to resolve a minor issue with his remote control. He frequently demanded that his protection officers retrieve golf balls for him during his games. Even the most trivial tasks were deemed beneath his capabilities. He expected absolute and unquestioning obedience from his staff, regardless of the time of day. This behavior stands in stark contrast to his earlier career as a naval officer. The Falklands War veteran has seemingly transformed into a petty and self-absorbed figure. Andrew Loney's biography provides further details of inappropriate conduct during his time as a trade envoy. He is alleged to have exploited his position for personal gain and enrichment. He indulged in lavish accommodations at expensive hotels and associated with questionable individuals. Trips funded by taxpayers were often used as opportunities for personal vacations and leisure. One particular trip to Thailand reportedly involved Unveil, entertaining numerous women at the expense of the public. While the palace has dismissed many of the claims, his reputation has suffered irreparable damage. He appeared to view every opportunity as a chance to advance his own self-interests. This arrogance and sense of entitlement not extended to his financial dealings. He maintained a collection of luxury cars and owned multiple owns internationally, despite having limited legitimate income. He reportedly solicited valuable gifts and items from foreign dignitaries during official visits. One particularly brazen example involved Ale Gedley requesting a Faubourg egg during a visit. Royal Lodge in its vastness and rent-free status has come to symbolize his downfall. Public patience has worn thin as a series of scandals continue to tarnish the image of the monarchy. King Charles, angered by his brother's behavior, immediately decided to strip him of his royal privileges. His honorary titles and military honors have been revoked, and his eviction from Royal Lodge is imminent. The residence now serves as a constant reminder of his fall from grace and the consequences of his actions. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has expressed support for a formal inquiry into his living arrangements. The prevailing sentiment within Windsor is that this marks the definitive end of Andrew's royal career. Andrew's downfall has had a significant and negative impact on the House of York. Sarah Ferguson, who once defended him publicly, is now keeping her distance in an attempt to salvage her own reputation. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie remain silent on the matter, reported. Lie torn between loyalty to their father and shame over his actions. There are reports that they have temporarily left the United Kingdom to escape the intense media scrutiny. The once prominent family has become a source of tabloid fodder and public embarrassment. Andrew will likely relocate to a private estate, away from the public eye. His future remains uncertain, particularly in the absence of royal funding and support. His endorsements and affiliations have disappeared. Ed and his public image is likely beyond repair. His story serves as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked privilege and the importance of accountability. Power and entitlement, when left unexamined, can corrupt even those in positions of authority. The book, entitled exposes the vulnerabilities and weaknesses within the monarchy. It reveals the consequences of ignoring established rules and failing to enforce ethical standards. The former Royal Highness has come to embody arrogance, scandal, and a sense of impunity. From issuing demeaning orders to living a lavish lifestyle at public expense, Andrew has now lost everything. Royal Lodge will stand empty, a silent testament to his disgrace and downfall. History will remember his actions as a cautionary tale of unchecked power and privilege. The question remains, was Andrew always predisposed to this behavior, or did his privileged upbringing ultimately corrupt him? Should the monarchy have intervened sooner to prevent this descent into scandal and disgrace? His legacy will forever be defined by scandal. shame and the consequences of unchecked power. The complete dismantling of Prince Andrew's carefully constructed persona is now a stark illustration of the risks associated with unbridled privilege and its inherent capacity to corrupt. The British monarchy is currently facing a period of unprecedented public examination, scrutiny, intensified by recent events. Virginia Giuffre's family's statement eloquently encapsulates the widespread feelings surrounding the case, resonating deeply with the public. An ordinary woman has successfully challenged a royal asserting her truth against the immense power of the monarchy. Andrew's public image has undergone a dramatic and irreversible transformation, shifting from mere embarrassment to profound disgrace. Once favored and protected by the late Queen Elizabeth II, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor now finds himself in a state of complete exile. Having been stripped of his honorary military roles and royal patronages, he is now facing the very real prospect of eviction from his long-held residence at Royal Lodge. Disturbing and previously undisclosed details regarding his conduct have recently surfaced, further intensifying the already fierce public scrutiny. Royal historian Andrew Loney's recent publication meticulously details allegations of egregious mistreatment of staff by the prince, painting a damning portrait. Those within royal circles have long characterized him as discourteous, shockingly unformed, and notoriously difficult to manage, a constant source of frustration. His signature phrases and customary behaviors, once overlooked, are now subject to intense public analysis, revealing deeper character flaws. The ongoing controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's heinous crimes has deeply impacted the stability and reputation of the British monarchy. A forthcoming 60 Minutes broadcast promises to reveal further details in the immediate aftermath of Giuffre's explosive accusations. The situation is undeniably critical for the former prince, whose reputation has been irrevocably and severely damaged beyond repair. Following King Charles' decisive decision to sever all ties Andrew has forfeited all royal entitlements, marking a complete break. His cherished military affiliations, charitable patronages, and the right to be addressed as Royal Highness have all been formally revoked, symbols of his former status. Royal Lodge, formerly his sanctuary and refuge, is now for repossession, a tangible consequence of his actions. He shared the sprawling residence with Sarah Ferguson, his former wife. Scheiß Krovoi, Oldish, under a significantly reduced rental agreement, a perk of his royal status. This highly favorable arrangement, widely known as a peppercorn lease, ignited widespread public indignation and resentment. King Charles ultimately intervened decisively, compelling André W. to vacate the premises, signaling a new era of accountability. The activities that transpired within the walls of Royal Lodge are now being exposed as reprehensible, casting a shadow over the entire monarchy. Andrew's repeated denials of ever having met Virginia Roberts are increasingly viewed as disingenuous, lacking credibility in the face of mounting evidence. Evidence strongly suggests otherwise, leading to further condemnation of his actions and eroding public trust. The book, entitled pointedly, highlights Andrew's infamous command, "Do it now," as indicative of his deeply ingrained character and sense of entitlement. The dismissive phrase perfectly encapsulates his domineering impulse in dismissive manner, revealing a lack of respect for others. Staff members consistently felt demeaned and unveiled by Shepsud. His imperious demeanor creating a toxic work environment. Even long-serving palace employees, accustomed to dealing with royalty, found Andrew exceptionally unpleasant and challenging to work with. He frequently treated staff as if they were relics of a bygone era. Stark contrast to the genuine respect shown by other members of the royal family. Unlike Andrew, both King Charles and the Queen Mother were widely known for their genuine consideration and respect for staff. He appeared to be stubbornly stuck in the past, operating under the cult Nisku belief that his royal lineage granted him immunity from consequences. Recent disclosures paint a troubling and disturbing picture of his daily life and interactions with staff, revealing a pattern of abuse. His demands were consistently excessive and demeaning to those around him, reflecting a deep-seated sense of entitlement. Serving as an employee for Andrew was often likened to catering to whims of a spoiled and demanding child, a constant source of stress. His morning routine was particularly challenging and demanding for maids and valets assigned to his service, setting a negative tone for the day. He stubbornly refused to perform even the simplest and most basic tasks himself, such as opening his own curtains, relying on staff for everything. Staff members were routinely required to climb stairs to open his curtains while he passively observed, a display of his power dynamic. His bedroom was often found in a state of disarray, frequently littered with used tissues, creating an unpleasant and unsanitary environment. Maids were forced to clean up the mess, a task they found deeply humiliating and degrading, highlighting the power imbalance. His unusual fixation with stuffed animals further contributed to the bizarre and unsettling atmosphere within the residence, adding to the staff's discomfort. He meticulously maintained a vast collection of teddy bears, arranging them in a precise and regimented manner bordering on obsessive. Laminated photographs were used to instruct staff on the exact placement of each individual toy, a testament to his controlling nature. Any deviation from the prescribed arrangement, no matter how minor, would trigger his anger and frustration, creating a climate of fear. This childish and irrational behavior created a highly toxic and restful work environment for his staff, impacting their well-being. Aides frequently felt overwhelmed and stifled by his unpredictable and volatile moods, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid his wrath. Minor infractions, such as incorrect tie fabrics or forgotten curtains, could provoke angry outbursts, creating a climate of anxiety. He was known to shout, insult, and belittle those in his immediate vicinity, creating a hostile and demeaning atmosphere. One aide was reportedly reprimanded for failing to use the Queen Mot's full official title, highlighting his obsession with protocol. Another staff member was allegedly dismissed from their position due to the presence of a mole on their skin, a shocking display of Superficiality. Imagine working in an environment of luxury, yet constantly dreading the very interaction with your employer, a paradox of privilege and misery. Andrew's ever-changing and unpredictable mood dictated the atmosphere here and affected everyone around him, creating a sense of unease. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson are reportedly preparing to vacate Royal Lodge in the near future, marking the end of an era. He is rumored to be interested in acquiring Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's former residence, a move that would likely spark further controversy. His behavior has been far from what one would expect of a gentleman, tarnishing the image of the royal family. His actions reflected a man detached from reality, shielded from the consequences of his behavior by his privileged status, creating a sense of impunity. His inflated sense of entitlement extended far beyond the confines of the palace walls, influencing his interactions with the outside world. He routinely made absurd and unreasonable demands on his staff, showcasing his lack of consideration for others. He once summoned a technician in the middle of the night to resolve a issue with his remote control, a trivial matter blown out of proportion. He frequently demanded that his protection officers retrieve golf balls for him during his games, a blatant misuse of his security detail. Even the most trivial tasks were deemed beneath his capabilities, reinforcing his sense of superiority and entitlement. He expected absolute and unquestioning obedience from his staff, regardless of the time of day, reflecting a deeply ingrained power dynamic. This behavior stands in stark contrast to his earlier career as a naval officer, where discipline and teamwork were paramount. The Falklands War veteran has seemingly transformed into a petty and self-absorbed figure, a far cry from his earlier image of heroism. Andrew Loney's biography provides further damning details of his inappropriate conduct during his time as a trade envoy, revealing a pattern of abuse. He is alleged to have exploited his position for personal gain and enrichment, betraying the public trust. He indulged in lavish accommodations at expensive hotels and associated with questionable individuals, raising serious ethical concerns. Trips funded by taxpayers were often used as opportunities for personal vacation and leisure, blurring the lines between public service and private indulgence. One particular trip to Thailand reportedly involved entertaining numerous women at the expense of the public, sparking outrage and condemnation. While the palace has dismissed many of the claims, its reputation has suffered irreparable damage, eroding public trust in the monarchy. He appeared to view every opportunity as a chance to advance his own self-interests, demonstrating a lack of integrity and public service. This arrogance and sense of entitlement extended to his financial dealings, raising questions about his sources of income. He maintained a collection of luxury cars and owned multiple homes. In turn, despite having limited legitimate income, fueling speculation, he reportedly solicited valuable gifts and items from foreign dignitaries during official visits, a blatant violation of protocol. One particularly brazen example involved allegedly requesting a Faberg egg during a visit, showcasing his audacity and sense of entitlement. Royal Lodge, in its vastness and rent-free status, has come to symbolize his downfall, a tangible representation of his privilege and abuse of power. Public patience has worn thin, as a series of scandals continue to tarnish the image of the monarchy, threatening its long-term stability. King Charles, angered by his brother's behavior, ultimately decided to strip him of his royal privileges, signaling a new era of his honorary titles and military honors have been revoked, and his eviction from Royal Lodge is imminent, marking a complete break from his former life. The residence now serves as a constant reminder of his fall from race and the consequences of his actions, a symbol of his disgrace. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has expressed support for a formal inquiry into his living arrangements, reflecting the seriousness of the situation. The prevailing sentiment within Windsor is that this marks the definitive end of Andrew's royal career, a point of no return. Andrew's downfall has had a significant and negative impact on the House of York, tarnishing its reputation. Sarah Ferguson, who once defended him publicly, is now keeping her distance in an attempt to salvage her own reputation, prioritizing self-preservation. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie remain silent on the matter, reportedly torn between loyalty to their father and shame over his actions, a difficult position. There are reports that they have temporarily left the United Kingdom to escape the intense media scrutiny, seeking refuge from the public eye. The once prominent family has become a source of tabloid fodder and public embarrassment, a stark contrast to its former status. Andrew will likely relocate to a private estate, away from the public eye, seeking to avoid further scrutiny and controversy. His future remains uncertain, particularly in the absence of royal funding and support, facing an uncertain path forward. His endorsements and affiliations have disappeared, and his public image is likely beyond repair, facing a long road to redemption. If possible, his story serves as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked privilege and the importance of accountability, a lesson for all in positions of power. Power and entitlement, when left unexamined, can corrupt even in positions of authority, leading to disastrous consequences. The book, entitled exposes the vulnerabilities and weaknesses within the monarchy, highlighting the need for reform. It reveals the consequences of ignoring established rules and failing to enforce ethical standards, leading to a breakdown of trust. The former Royal Highness has come to embody arrogance, scandal, and a sense of impunity, a symbol of what can go wrong. From issuing demeaning orders to living a lavish lifestyle at public expense. Andrew has now lost everything, facing the consequences of his actions. Royal Lodge will stand empty, a silent testament to his disgrace and downfall, a reminder of his shattered legacy. History will remember his actions as a cautionary tale of unchecked power and privilege, a lesson for future generations. The question remains, was Andrew always predisposed to this behavior? Or did his privileged upbringing ultimately corrupt him? A nature versus nurture debate. Should the monarchy have intervened sooner to prevent this descent into scandal and disgrace, raising questions about institutional oversight? His legacy will forever be defined by scandal, shame, and the consequences of unchecked power, a permanent stain on the royal family.